In Mariupol, the ruins of the drama theater where Russian troops dropped a heavy bomb the day before are being dismantled. Survivors come out of the shelter. The People's Deputy of Ukraine, Serhiy Taruta, reported about it. After a terrible night of uncertainty on the morning of the 22nd day of the war, finally, good news from Mariupol. The bomb shelter survived. The blockages began to be dismantled. People come out alive. The number of people who survived the bombing of the theater in Mariupol is currently being identified. Due to the constant shelling of the city, rescuers could not dismantle the rubble of the destroyed theater for about 10 hours. As it turned out, the underground shelter withstood the strike, which completely destroyed the theater. At the same time, Moscow states that the targets are only military facilities. At the time of the Russian attack, about 1,500 people were in the theater's shelter. From the data obtained from the satellite images, there were two huge words, children, on the ground next to the theater, so they could be seen from the sky. But that did not stop the Russian military. Mariupol has been surrounded by Russian troops for about 3 weeks. The city has been bombed almost completely, and there is a complete humanitarian catastrophe. More than 100 employees of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant are held as hostages by the Russian military. The small team, which is overloaded with work, has been working around the clock for over 500 hours without shifting. Chernobyl technicians and support staff are limited in food due to low food supplies. Workers complain of sickness, headache, dizziness. Some of them suffer from diseases that require constant access to medication. Workers' phones were confiscated by Russian soldiers. They allow only short calls under their control. The site of the world's largest nuclear disaster has become a prison. Ukrainian nuclear scientists believe that if they agree to the shifting, they will put their colleagues at risk, who may become voluntary hostages of the occupiers. And if the personnel leave the station, the Russian invaders can bring in new personnel from Russia instead. This was reported by the Ukrainian nuclear energy generating company Energoatom. In case of sabotage at the station, the consequences of the nuclear disaster could be felt by dozens of European countries. More than 3 million Ukrainians have become refugees due to the Russian attack. Half of them are children. This is UN data. Most people took refuge in Poland, Romania, Slovakia, and Germany. According to UNICEF, every second Ukrainian child becomes a refugee. If the escalation continues, the number of refugees from Ukraine could increase by another million. In addition to refugees, 2 more million people became internally displaced persons. They had to move to other regions of Ukraine.
Russia attacks not only physically. It has been waging an information war against the world and peace for a long time.
Зона свободной торговли с Европой – это прямая сдача страны, ее разорение.
В подгузниках 44 человека, небритых, пьяных, с теми же самыми шевронами.
Every day, millions of people listen to and read the outright lies of Russian journalists about Nazis in Ukraine, bloodthirsty Europe, and envious America.
Самый неэффективный альянс, который можно себе только представить.
Putin's propagandists stage fake news stories, defacing the main rule of journalism – honesty.
Это первая из нашей страны колонна с гуманитарной помощью мирному населению Украины.
Ребята, кому-то надо, пожрать от оккупантов.
Since the beginning of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the amount of Russian propaganda has grown to 90% worldwide. The aim of Kremlin mouthpieces is to spread panic, justify the war, and undermine the world's attitude to Ukraine.
Могут погибнуть мирные люди.
Сейчас в Херсонской области ряд населенных пунктов перешел под контроль очень вежливых людей.
The worst thing is that while the whole civilized world refuses to cooperate with Russia, Russian media are still broadcasting in Europe. The world must know the truth. It has only one interpretation. And Russian TV channels show the opposite.
Особый интерес вызвала детальная информация о реализации США на территории Украины проекта по изучению переноса патогенов дикими птицами.
Turn off Russian propaganda. Say no to fakes and war.